Hi, my name is Michael Reed. I did my TED Talk on how sustainable is Ontario's power generation. I wanted to focus on this because I took an internship last year for a year at the nuclear power plant up in Pickering, and I'd like to talk about nuclear as well as talking about all the other power generation techniques we have. So in power generation, Ontario is broken down. We have 57% nuclear, followed by hydro, thermal energy, and then finally our alternative power sources. So I'll get right into nuclear. So how does it work? We have a calandria here, the reactor, which contains fissionable uranium. This reaction causes a heavy water that passes through the reactor to heat up. We grab some water from the lake. We put that into a boiler. We heat up the water from the lake. It turns to steam, goes through turbines which rotate, and this causes the generator to produce electricity. The problem with this is that in the reactor we have used fuel and non-fissionable uranium, which they need to take out, but this non-fissionable uranium is still highly radioactive. We have no way to make this less radioactive except to let it sit for a while in a cooling pond and then bring it into dry fuel storage. Problem with this is now we're getting too much fuel, too much storage, and it's also a potential hazard to the environment. So again, three categories of waste: low-level waste, which can be incinerated at certain low levels of radioactivity; intermediate level waste, parts that are used in the nuclear reactor; and finally high-level waste, which is used fuel. What Ontario plans to do with the overwhelming amount of intermediate and low-level waste is to build a geological repository. They're planning to build this near Lake Huron in the limestone section of bedrock. There's a lot of problems with this: accessibility, corrosive factors on the containers. If something leaks, how are we supposed to know? How are we supposed to access it? So there's a lot of problems surrounding nuclear. So I wanted to look at the alternatives. We have solar. The problem with solar right now is that if we were to replace our nuclear generators with solar, that would be 25% of Ontario. If we went to wind turbines, that would take up 75% of Ontario. So obviously this is not very feasible for our needs. And then I looked into how much do we generate. Well, it turns out Canada is a large energy exporter. We're actually generating too much energy on the average, and we sell this to the States. The States usually has coal-fired power plants, so this is a way for them to meet their demands. I also noticed that our total annual electricity exceeds India, which has a much larger population than we are. So in closing, I wanted to bring up some questions. How much does sustainability factor into our choice of power generation techniques? Are we using nuclear efficiently and wisely, or are we just making money? Are we factoring our impact on our environment into our power generation needs, again with nuclear? And is there enough public clarity about these issues, about our own power generation? Has power generation become too political? Thank you for listening.